Hi, Martin here. Today we're going to change out the rear axle fluid on our 99 through 04 Jeep Grand Cherokees. This particular one is equipped with the Dana 44, and it is a aluminum housing rear end. It's a little different, and of course it's got steel axle tubes. Now you may also have a Dana 35 or even the earlier ZJ or the XJ Cherokees. This is all pretty much going to be the same, other than on my particular model I got a sway bar that runs right in front of the diff cover there. So I'll have to just kind of remove that to get the cover off. All right, well, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start by removing the 15mm bolts that hold the sway bar to the axle tube. We're not going to worry about removing them from the end links. Hopefully we can just leave it the way it is there. Okay, that lowers it down nicely to where you could easily work on it, and you could leave it hooked up to the sway bar end links there. Now I went ahead and removed the rear sway bar just so it wouldn't block the video shot. Okay, I got myself a drain pan ready here. All these bolts seem to be 13mm. Here's your ID tag. This tells you the gear ratio right there, 3.73 to 1. I can tell this rear end's been serviced before because the tag used to be over here. You can tell by that darker spot. Now just using a flat blade screwdriver, you can pull the plug out. There we go. To kind of grab a hold of it so it doesn't fall down, or you could leave one of the bolts in, preferably toward the top. It's not going to give up without a fight. I'm just going to reinstall one of these bolts just so it doesn't fall, make a mess. Now you can use a gasket scraper. I just got an old chisel, wood chisel here that I use, and clean up this gasket surface. Scrape off all the old RTV or any gasket material. Alright, using some brake parts cleaner, spray out the inside of this. If you're wondering if you got a Vari-Lok locker in your rear end, you know, do you need the additive, the friction modifier? And by turning the wheel here, that wheel there should turn the same direction. But don't be surprised if it goes in the opposite direction for a little while. It takes a moment for it to actually do what it's supposed to do. All right, let me show you. Now watch. I'm going to turn it. Nope. And what's it do? It goes the direction there. See how it's going the opposite direction right there? Now, right there, I can feel it. Oh yeah. Now it's doing what it's supposed to do. So don't be surprised if you first turn it and they both, you know, the wheels go in opposite directions and you think you got an open. Make sure. See, look at that. There it's not doing, there it's going the opposite direction. Again, there, and there it goes right there. Okay, this is a Vari-Lok. And another way to find out is, do you got a quadra drive? You got a Vari-Lok in your rear end and front end. Okay. Here's the 04 owner's manual for the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Let's have a look what it has to say. Okay, I highlighted the important parts here as far as the Vari-Lok goes. So, synthetic gear lube or equivalent, SAE 75W140, if equipped with a Dana M35 or M44 Vari-Lok rear axle. And then here it also states for trailer tow applications, use the 75W140 synthetic gear lube in the rear axle. Vari-Lok equipped axles require a friction modifier additive. And on this page here we got the scheduled maintenance. Here it says drain and refill front and rear axles every 12,000 miles or 19,000 kilometers. And then here again on the very next page, also drain and refill, and then it's at 24,000 miles. And it goes so on and so on, so it's every 12,000 miles. Now I would have never suspected that the front and rear ends need to be serviced every 12,000. That actually does seem like in excess. Personally, I would think maybe every 36,000. And actually that's what it turns out to be for me, because I haven't gotten around to it since I bought this vehicle a few years ago. Alright, let's get that cover cleaned up and get it back on the vehicle. One thing that I think is pretty cool about this cover, look, it's got a magnet in here. And this is something I do to any differential that wouldn't have a magnet. Yeah, I take one of these like rare earth magnets out of a hard drive from a computer, like an older one, and I'll take that kidney shaped magnet and put it inside the differential. They stick really well. But alright, we'll get this all cleaned up. We'll get all the old gasket material off of here. I'm using a wire cup brush on here with my DeWalt. This makes real quick work with it. Now I wouldn't do this to the aluminum housing surface of the differential. It's a little too harsh. But this works really well for this cover. Alright, using the brake parts cleaner, clean up the cover. Now that magnet holds a lot of material, so spray that out really good. Okay, I got the cover all cleaned up. I went ahead and repainted it. Looks great. And now I wanted to use, let's say, a lube locker gasket. I couldn't find one. They make one for the Dana 44, but not for the Dana 44 HD. So I'm just going to use this Permatex sealant. It's made specially for working with rear axles or axles in general, because it has a friction modifier. It resists that. Friction modifier doesn't break it down or whatever. So it's made for this application. Okay. I cleaned off the surfaces with acetone before I put any of the sealant on there. Just make, you don't want any oil on there. That way you get that cleaned off of there and you're going to have a good seal. It won't leak on you. Alright, got everything torqued down. Alright, ready to put the fluid back into it. I'm using a 75W140, which is what is required for the Vari-Loks. And another thing you need to put into them is this Mopar additive. 4 ounces for the rear ends, 2.5 if you were doing the front end. And I will put a link down below where you can get both these items. Now what I would do, there is enough room to put these 4 ounces inside this container. I would just do that. Now, like this particular valvoline that I'm using does come with a modifier for limited slips, but I've heard some not so good things because of the Vari-Lok. It really likes the Mopar brand because the way it operates. It's got like this pump in the differential, and so I would just use the Mopar one on top of, whatever this one's got. Using this method here where I put the jug up above the rear axle, it gets every drop right out of it. Works real well. Now, the fluid didn't come out of the rear axle like you normally would, but I do have the vehicle jacked up, so it's, the fluid's rolling toward the front a little bit. Now I can put my finger in there, just right there. And there it is, I can feel it. So it's right there at the top. So it's 2 quarts plus those 4 ounces of friction modifier, and you're good. All right, just replace the plug, and there we go. All right, well there you have it. Pretty easy, simple to do, and something that's supposed to be done every 12,000. Well, it's going to be longer than that for me, I think. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, I sure appreciate the thumbs up. And if you've never subscribed to me before, please hit that subscribe button right down there and a little bell symbol right next to it, and that way you get notifications of my next and upcoming videos. And also check down below in the description where you'll find Amazon links to all the products and tools I used in the video, and you can do all your Amazon shopping right through one of those links, and that way the channel earns a small commission. I really appreciate that. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you on the next one.